Meta has agreed to pay more than $17 billion to settle a landmark social media addiction lawsuit brought by several states, including right here in Colorado. It resolves claims that the company's platforms harmed young people's mental health. Meta does not admit to any wrongdoing as part of the settlement. As part of the deal, Meta will commit to establish daily limits and blocks on nighttime use for teen users. It will also enhance age access measures, and the company is required to create additional tools to help parents and guardians protect their children online. The settlement will require the approval of a judge.
Here to talk about this major development is 9 News mental health expert Dr. Cheryl Ziegler. And let's start by talking about the big picture, right? Like when this settlement moves forward, as it is now that we know, what do you think that means in the world of mental health, especially for our teens?
Yeah, you've heard the term like this is a bellwether moment. This is a moment because they've had other lawsuits that have gone to settlements. There's some still in motion, all of that. But this is a huge one that says, okay, we're going to settle this. We're not going to say we did anything wrong, but we're going to settle it. I think what this means is this is also a signal to parents that all of our battles with our kids about screens and apps, it isn't just your kid or something's wrong with them or I'm a bad parent because I can't get my kid under control. We're now really discovering this was designed to do exactly what it did. And now, as a parent, we have to figure out, well, okay, we're not going to undo this, but how are we going to live with this? And are these tech companies really going to make the significant differences and changes that they have to do so that there are more clear, noticeable parental controls and all of those kinds of limits? It's necessary. I think it's a validation. Like if anybody was on the fence of like, well, maybe it just is me or my kid or this was real validation. I think some of the things in Discovery that just really show the seriousness of how they knew exactly what they were designing, and it worked.
That is very angering as a parent. What are the key takeaways for parents now to know after the fact? Like, what are some of the things that they're going to roll out to protect our teens?
Yeah, well, let's wait for the rollout. Let's say what's there that is still probably hard to discover, but it's there, right? There's an option of these were the things that were contested. Like, you have to opt in for take a break. So that there's a notification that would come up if you're a teen that says take a break. Basically, you've been scrolling for I think 20 minutes or more. And so you might want to check as a parent, has your kid opted in? Are they opted in or opted out? That's one thing. Then there are parental controls. And they have worked over the last 2 years to make them easier to do. I think this gives everybody an opportunity to go, okay, hold on. Anything that you're on that has to do with Meta, let me take a look. Let me look at the parental controls. Let me look at the time limits on there and the security measures. Make sure, because this is a big one, they weren't really checking the age. The age was very easy to get around. So maybe it said, oh, what's your birthday? And you could just make it up and then you were old enough, right? So your kid might have done that. And it was really easy for them to do it. So it's not like a busting you kind of moment. It's just okay, let me see what age it actually says you are, because that will determine the limitations that are in there. So for now, don't expect that it's going to dramatically change, but it brought out all the things that we can do now as parents because we have a little bit more information.
I'm curious because Meta, right in the settlement, made a bit of a call to action to say, okay, we're doing this. We expect to see other apps follow suit. Meta they own a lot. They don't own everything. Do you think we'll see that trickle down to other places, ByteDance's TikTok and so forth?
I think I'm going to just base it on what's actually happened. So the other two big apps would be TikTok and Snapchat. And they do have family control centers and parental controls in there. I don't know about the opt-in. That's the big one, is the opt-in or opt-out, right? Because that's the big discrepancy in whether a teen would do that or not. I think that what we're going to see is some changes, but I still think that, at least for now, it's going to really still rely on a parent saying, okay, let me carve out 45 minutes right now to sit down. And honestly, you may need to use Google Gemini or something to kind of walk you through, is everything all set up? So that's where I really think that we are. I think it does sometimes take these kind of really big lawsuits or big moments to get big tech to change because it's just so incredibly profitable.
And something you mentioned earlier, I just feel like, and we only have about 30 seconds, I'm sorry, but parents now have the opportunity to kind of shift the blame. Like, hey, we now know this is very addictive. So how can parents reset that relationship with social media with their kids?
Yeah, it's huge. There's a lot of things too. Like the American Psychological Association changed their guidelines where it's not all just about time. It's about the quality of what you're doing, right? So I think this is a great opportunity to say things like, hey, what do you do on TikTok? Hey, what accounts do you like to follow? Hey, let's look at the Snapchat list. And do you know all these people in real life? It's like a great opportunity. No one's in trouble. I think that's a big one. No one's in trouble. But we're here to kind of have these conversations about this digital literacy piece. And this is a great opportunity to do it where yes, sure, shift the blame on the tech or whatever you want to do, but basically just gives you a great excuse to say, let's sit down together and do this.
I love that.
Me too.
Okay. Dr. Ziegler, thank you.
Thanks for having me.